Happy Arvo. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? So, I saw this video pop up, and to be honest, I mean, I'm just curious. Considering Mr. Peter Dutton, which I will say, I saw some of you referring to him as Voldemort. I'm just saying I saw some of you doing that, and so now I do understand. Some people don't like him. You know, it is what it is. According to the markets, the betting markets, I mean, he is currently in the lead, narrowly, to be the most likely next prime minister of Australia. So therefore, I just want to know, and I want to keep up with what he's saying and stuff. It is, I will reiterate, a very close race. Very close race. I was going to say, get out there and vote, guys, but you have to, huh? You don't have a choice. No one's going to convince you. Yeah, and I mean, this is on tariffs. You know, tariffs. I don't really mean to be adding to the noise about tariffs. You know, tariffs good, tariffs bad. Tariffs happy, tariffs mad. It's just, you know, it's a hot topic. Everybody has an opinion on the tariffs. And I mean, I guess this is probably this is new. This is one day old. And Trump announced some tariffs on aluminum and steel imports. I don't know if that's what this is referring to, because I don't think there's any tariffs specifically targeting Australia. But maybe those, you know, how much steel and aluminum do we import from Australia? I really don't know. Any? Maybe a lot. Let me see. Steel imports from Australia to America. I just want to know how much. Okay. Iron in the steel was $400 million during 2024. Okay, I mean, substantial. Oh, I'm seeing right here, Trump to consider exemption for Australia. That would be interesting. I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I am like, you know, come on, like Australia, really? Really? Like, no matter your opinion on the tariffs in general, I don't even know if you guys have opinions on the tariffs in general, because it's not an Australian thing, but it seems like everybody's got an opinion on it. But anyway, but it's like on Australia, come on, guys. Let me just see what Dutton has to say.
We have to leave it there. The opposition leader, Peter...
I really just want to know what he has to say, you know what I mean? I don't really care to speak my opinion. I don't even really have an opinion right now. I just want to hear what he has to say. Keep up to date with it all.
It's an incredibly important issue for our country. I think it's very important for the United States and for the Trump administration.
Mr. Clean, man. Voldemort or Mr. Clean? I guess if you don't like him, he's Voldemort. If you like him, he's Mr. Clean.
To hear that there is a bipartisan position in relation to the Prime Minister's call to remove this tariff from a very close and dear ally of the United States. I want
this is true.
There to be a very clear message to the Trump administration that we don't believe that this tariff should be put in place, and if it remains in place, then I believe it will damage the relationship between the United States and Australia.
Damn, I hate to hear that. I mean, that is in the title. We will damage the relationship, or will damage the relationship. Yeah, that's putting it pretty bluntly. That's unfortunate. You know, I consider the relationship with Australia, that's a good one. You know what I mean? There's not too much bad blood there. So that would be unfortunate to tarnish that in any way. Very unfortunate.
We have an incredible relationship with the United States, long-standing. We've fought for over 100 years side by side with the United States. They're obviously part of the Five Eyes Compact.
Ooh, the Five Eyes. I always thought that's the most, like, dystopian sounding thing. The Five Eyes. You know, they're watching you from all around the world. The freaking Five Eyes, dude. I don't know. This just gives me some 1984 vibes, but it is true. You know, you guys are a big part of that, along with us.
There is clearly.
I guess I'd rather you guys be watching, having the eyes over the whole world than China.
A very important people-to-people link that has spanned generations through the different arrangements that we've had in the trade space, in science, in many areas of mutual endeavour. We've done a lot of work with the United States, clearly to try and provide support and stability, whether that's in Iraq or whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in our near region. This is an incredibly important relationship, and I want to make sure that we have the strongest possible relationship, and tariffs are not warranted against Australia, particularly because we have a trade surplus with the United States.
That's a good point. You know, a lot of Trump's points are like, hey, we have a trade deficit. We have a trade deficit, huge deficit with you. Not the case with Australia.
So I want to make that
I didn't even know that until he just said that, but that's interesting.
very clear. I just also make mention of the fact that I spoke with Peter Malinauskas this morning from South Australia in relation to the situation around Whyalla, which obviously is a difficult and precarious issue. And I said to the Premier that as a coalition we'd be very keen to work closely with the South Australian government to do whatever we can to make sure that we can preserve jobs and that industry in South Australia. And I'd spoken this morning also with my colleagues Rowan Ramsey and James Stevens and Tony Passon.
Can I just say, hey, whether you think this guy's Mr. Clean or not, I just have to be totally honest. He's not very charismatic. Which I guess, I mean, it's whatever. That's not really important necessarily. But, yeah, that's just the facts. I'm just saying what I'm seeing.
In relation to that same issue, it's an incredibly worrying situation in Whyalla. And as a result of the Albanese government's energy policy, they're making it harder and harder for these businesses to survive and operate. So that was an important discussion this morning as well. I'm happy to take any questions.
Mr. Dutton, do you welcome Donald Trump confirming that a strategy's been considered for exemptions? Do you think this is a success for Anthony Albanese, and would have you handled the situation any differently?
Well, look, I think it's a statement of fact that the Prime Minister has made the relationship more difficult through his previous comments, the comments of Penny Wong and comments obviously of Ambassador Rudd, which were deeply personal in nature.
I don't know what he's referring to be honest.
And the President will have noticed those comments. So I think it's very difficult when that's the starting point in the relationship. But what's important now is that the Trump administration hears that there is a bipartisan position in Australia to stand up for our national interest, and that national interest is best served by a removal of the tariff as it applies to Australia. And if
We're talking about the metals tariff, right? Did we make that clear? Oh, look, here we go. Blanket tariff on steel and aluminum. Indeed. Yeah, it's a blanket tariff. I mean, it's not specifically for Australia. But it would be affecting you guys.
Stays in place, then I think
and I mean, it affects all of us. You know what I mean? Do not get, misunderstand. I want to make it clear that I understand that. It affects everybody. You know what I mean? It just adds friction to the transaction.
Damages the relationship, and I've been very clear about that. Yes, ma'am.
If the tariffs do go ahead, do you consider that purely the fault of Donald Trump, or do you blame squarely at Anthony Albanese for it?
Well, it's a decision of the Trump administration, and I don't think it's warranted. And I strongly
The way they're kind of speaking on it is like as if it was targeted at Australia, which I guess it's same difference. I guess it's same difference whether it's targeted or not. If it's applied to Australia, then it's applied to Australia.
Administration, and I don't think it's warranted. And I strongly support the Prime Minister in his call for the tariff to be reduced. We are a surplus trading nation with the United States. I think there's an incredible opportunity for us to do a lot more work and with the United States in the trade space. I think there's an enormous opportunity for us in AUKUS, both Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, which was negotiated by the coalition government. I think there's enormous opportunity for us in the civil nuclear industry as we grow that here in Australia. That is a huge trading opportunity with the United States. And I'm sure the Trump administration would embrace those opportunities. And that's a big part of the reason as to why we don't want tariffs.
Hey, be careful. He might start saying he wants to make you guys the 51st state. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, Canada. How about Canada, 51st? Australia, 52nd. Greenland. I don't know if Greenland would be a state, but, you know, why not? 53rd.
Tariffs put in place against Australia.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, interesting. I like to keep up on it. And I'm just kind of curious about, you know, watching and listening to more of Peter Dutton in general. I guess I could wait until the election's over to see if he actually wins. But, you know, I just want to be prepared for if he does. For what we're in for. Okay. Okay. All right. Shout out Sky News, you know, small and up and coming YouTube channel. 5 million subscribers. And shout out Peter Dutton. All right. Yeah, I mean, I really do value the relationship that the United States has with Australia. So I hope, hopefully nothing comes in between that. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.